Hey, what's going on, guys? Double 18 Set Shadow here. So to follow up from yesterday's Flash Market Watch, I know we have the Shiranui and Luard Stride deck sets, and they're going to be getting reveals very soon. We're going to be starting with Shiranui with this coming week, so I wanted to look ahead and see some potential options to take a look at on the market for when these reveals start to show themselves. So the first thing is I do want to go over Shiranui Oboro, which is the original card that we're going to be getting with the Stride deck set. Initially, the first thought was that we would probably get the original Stealth Dragon Shiranui, but because the defining factor of Shiranui from G was the Dominate mechanic, it turns out that Shiranui Oboro is the one that's going to be getting the special treatment for this Stride deck set. So, to talk about Shiranui Oboro, let's first take a look at its listings. And the ones we're going to look at are specifically the G version. So, this is the History Collection reprint version of that, which is currently $280 base and $229 market price. You have the hot stamp version from the original trial deck, which right now is $130, and the SP that came out of G Set 11, which is $200 right now, and they all have 2 listings apiece. And the market prices for the trial deck and the original SP are $77 and $67 respectively. Taking a look at actual sales of these, let's see, that first one's a moderately played, and players have been picking this up for over 125, and that was sparse over the last few months. It gradually moved its way up, so yes, players are actually buying into this at this price point. We take a look at the SP. We're looking at this one hasn't sold. That's a surprise. $70 back in July, and nobody has bought it for $200, despite the fact that this is technically rarer than the hot stamp. The hot stamp is the one that's more expensive, and it's technically far more available. Then we've also got the triple rare from the trial deck. We have the History Collection common, and we also have the common from the trial deck. The commons are $5 to $6, and the triple rare is currently $17. Let's see what's been selling on that front. It's recent. Players bought for $12, $17 on this one, so that's quite a spike in value. So yeah, when it comes to Oboro, everything is really spiking out there. But if you don't really care to get the high rarities of these, then that's fine, given that you will be getting a new artwork of this card in the Stride deck set anyway. Also, the price of this is rising due to History Collection and the use of Shiranui Oboro in Premium as well. So just keep that in mind too. Now on to some items that to look for when it comes to Shiranui Oboro. And honestly, I couldn't think of too many when it comes to this Stride deck set. The only one, and this one has been pretty obvious from the start, is Vairina Esperidia. Given the way that Shiranui Oboro works, because it's grade 4 when you go to Stride, you're able to play Esperidia when you go for Stride. And without needing Trickstar, this card can restand for a Soul Blast, enabling additional attacks in addition to the anticipated Dominate attacks that you're going to be getting. For those of you who don't know, the mechanic of Dominate works like this. You choose one of your opponent's units, and you dominate it. When you dominate it, you have it attack one unit. Any of your opponent's rear guards or your opponent's vanguard. Some skills require it to be the vanguard, others allow it to be any sort of skill. So in effect, what you're doing is, you're taking control of your opponent's units, and you're forcing them to battle each other. So that's how the Dominate mechanic works. So it's additional attacks on the Vanguard in addition to your standard 3 attacks. So with Vairina Esperidia, that makes it possible for you to go for 4, 5, maybe even more than 6 attacks a turn, depending. In terms of actual prices of Esperidia right now, we're looking at 24 on the base triple rare, and then it's about $70 for the SP and $113 for the DSR. And the only one that's really far away from its market price is the SP. The market price on that is about $32. The only other one I could really think of is Twin Bullet of Duststorm Travis, because my thought is that there's going to be a lot of soul that's going to be needed for Shiranui Oboro, and this was the only one I could think of that comes to mind when it comes to building soul. And because there was a screenshot I saw of Magun Tembu as the first stride for Shiranui Oboro, which leads me to believe that we will have some retire-based effects in the Dominate build, meaning Travis will be viable for that to build you soul and also retire more rear guards. So right now, when it comes to this card, there are 20 listings. It's from set 4, and it has been up in value a few cents when it comes to its market price. Right now, it's selling for $2.50-ish to $3, and we have a number of copies available in that range right now. But I'm curious to see what you guys think. What other cards are you eyeing when it comes to the Shiranui Oboro Stride deck set? I'm curious to hear. As for the other Stride deck set, we've got Dragheart Luard coming, and this one I'm going to guess will end up being the more popular one, but we'll see. In any case, when it comes to the original Dragheart Luard, we've got the SP of this one, which is $275 base right now. And we have sales at $72 tops, and just before that about $62. But that was back in August and July. Nobody has bought it since. We take a look at the hot stamp from the trial deck. Let's see. Moderately played is $65. And then you got lightly played for $68. Once you get to near mint, it's $90, and players have been picking it up for $80+ since July. Luard is a really popular unit, so yeah, I'm not too surprised at the hype on it, but geez, that is expensive. We take a look at the other variants. The Triple R from the trial deck is about $8, and then the common is now $4. So Luard is definitely on the more expensive side if you want to pick up its old version. But again, it will have a reprint in the Stride deck set as well, so you don't have to pick up old copies. As for text to look out for, the first one I want to go over is Drilling Angel. Just like with Shiranui Oboro, the focus here is building soul, and with Drilling Angel, it gives you the ability to put stuff into your soul so that you may also call new cards and replenish any soul that you're going to need for additional costs. And between Shiranui Oboro and Luard, Shiranui Oboro doesn't need Counterblast for its Stride skill, while Luard does. So I feel like there will be a heavier emphasis on soul for Shiranui Oboro, but we'll see. In any case, I would say watch out for Drilling Angel, as it is a potential contender. Price-wise, everything is pretty easy to pick up right now. They're all like under $1 all the way to $5 when you go to the holo foil. If you want the promo foil right now, the market price is $9, but it's base 17 right now. So probably not the best option, but it's whatever you'd like to pick up. Skullwitch Nemain was one of the first cards to really spike up when Luard got announced, especially given that this one also gives you soul by putting a card from hand to soul and then letting you draw 2 additional cards. But the thing about Nemain is that it's a 5k base and it's also a grade 2, and its ability costs a Counterblast, as opposed to Drilling Angel, which is just pick up a card from your drop and put it to soul. So there's the possibility Nemain will end up getting used, but we'll have to see given how heavy the cost is in comparison. Price-wise, Nemain is $20 for its triple rare, and the SP is currently at $80. And I'm curious to see if people have been buying into it, because I know players haven't been for a while. Someone did buy an $80 copy at the end of last month, and there are overall just 7 copies on the market right now. Another card that did spike up initially with the announcement was Painkiller Angel, which is effectively the newer version of Swordbreak Angel, which was heavily played in Luard back in G format. But Painkiller Angel has a lot of different printings right now. So you can pick it up lower than $1, towards $1, and if you want the SP right now, there is a copy for $10, 2 copies actually. Players have been buying this for around $10, and there are only 3 copies left around that point. And then it becomes $11 plus. So, but overall, the market price of this has been going down over the last few months. I guess with the anticipation of Luard also having other options in its own Stride deck, players may not be considering Painkiller Angel as much as they used to. And then of course there's also Duorung, which is a grade 2, but I mentioned it on one of my prior market watches that it's generic Decatur Sanctuary in being able to pick up any card that you want for a specific clan. It's still under $1 for its rare, and it's still $5 right now for its FR. So not much change on that front, but just another one to watch out for. Trigger-wise, I want to go over the front and draw triggers right now, just to keep in mind when looking at these new Stride deck sets. Mainly, we'll be looking at Alpac and Parama, which are the Cater Sanctuary and Dragon Empire fronts. And right now, they're much lower than their market prices. Parama dropped all the way to 20, while Alpac went down to 25 on its SP. And the thing about that SP is that it is a moderately played, and players have been picking this card up at close to $40, but there are listings as low as $30 right now, so you have the opportunity to pick it up cheaper. As for Parama's SP, this one has been selling for $15 recently and has not been seeing much more gain from that. So just to keep in mind on that front. We're just looking at the set 2 versions here, but when it comes to the Holo and Original Rare, they are ranging from $5 all the way to $8. So they're in a decent price range, and they do have their reprints, so best to look around and see what works best in that front. As for the draw triggers, let's see. We're looking at Perobi and Flare Veil Dragon in this case, which right now they're SPs. Perobi is 80 base, and Flare Veil is currently 68 base. As for the rares, we've got 8 for Flare Veil and 7 for Perobi. This is all just set 4, though. So right now, it's still basically the same as the front triggers, but definitely watch out, as I do want to point out that Riley and Connector have jumped past $10 again. So with the new Stride deck sets coming out, there's the potential for more price gains on these two as well. So definitely be careful as we go forward. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And once again, what are you guys paying attention to for Oboro and Luard? I'm curious to hear. And if you feel, please leave some comments, and I will see you guys later.